Hi folks, it's Aj here. Some more Railway Empire, tackling some more of the scenarios, or another scenario. Last time it was Metropolis, which we completed with the highest rating possible president. So now I want to have a try at, I think I'll go for this one, the cattle drive. I find this one quite difficult because one of the bonus, optional objectives is to have 40,000 people connected to your rail network, and you have to do it pretty quickly. So you need some quick growth, quick expansion, and yeah. So for this one, I'm going to use the Trickster, and that's because you get cheaper locomotives and auctions. And with this one, I do find it better if you buy yourself a couple, or quite a few, of the industries that are on the map. Like the factories and the production centres. Right, so let's just have a quick look at the tasks. In fact, no, we'll just wait until his speech bubble goes away, because then we can see this the optional task that I was talking about. Here we go. See here, we've got the 3 years, since it's the end of the year, to connect 400,000 to your rail network, which is obviously a lot of people you need to hook up. So I'm going to focus on that first, because these, the other early ones, they're pretty easy to achieve. It's the 400,000 people that you need to worry about on this one, especially if you want to get the president rating. So what I'm going to do to start with is just hook up as many cities as I can, get them all growing, try and link them up so they're mutually beneficial, and by that I mean having, for example, the meat produced here going to Pierre, which produces beer, because then the freight shipped between the two will be helping both of those cities grow at the same time, and then expand, following that route. So if this produces beer, I want to find another meat producing city, which memory serves is Rapid City, so then connect them two, and then from Rapid City get another beer city, which I think is Cheyenne or Casper, and fan out like that. So then each city that you're connecting up is gonna be growing. They're both going to be helping each other grow. Now, because you have to do this pretty quickly, I'm just going to use the small stations, because you can always upgrade them at a later point. But for now, I need to get the stations down, as many down as I can, as quickly as you can. So that's why I'm just opting for the small ones to start with. Now, why is he red? The track is colliding with itself. Okay, well now it's not. Very good. So we'll put that line in place. Whoops, not there. And then we want to get the parallel track set up as well, so we can have multiple trains running the circuit. And then we want to put our signals down. And in fact, to save myself a little bit of money, I'm not even going to bother with supply towers at this point. In fact, I'll probably not even bother with the maintenance buildings at this point, because the money I have, I really need it for the expansion. Yes, obviously the poor maintenance and lack of supplies will slow the trains down and cause more and more breakdowns, but it's a trade-off I'm willing to accept, because the trains, they don't just stop forever. They'll stop for a bit and then carry on, or they'll slow down and not run as quickly, but they are still running. So then we'll set a train up between these two cities, and then we shall get one going in the opposite direction, And now I'm purposely not going to clone these. And it might sound silly because I'm probably not using up a great deal more time doing it manually, but it is giving the trains that little bit extra time to depart from their home station, so they're a little better spaced along the line. Okay, so that's the first one set up. Now, obviously Bismarck is another beer city, so we don't really want to link Pierre to Bismarck. We could go from Sioux Falls to Fargo. However, as you can see here with these with the contour lines, this is quite a steep drop that it's going to be travelling on, which will involve earthworks, which obviously cost money. And like I said, I really want as much money saved, or I want to spend as little as I can, so then I can build more stations, more track, and get more cities linked up as quickly as possible. So we'll go instead to Rapid City over here. We'll bring him out into Pierre. Now that's a fairly level bit of land that it's travelling on, so don't really need to adjust anything there. So we'll just go ahead and put him in place. Then we want to get our signals in as always. And then we can set up the trains. Again, I'm not going to clone them, I'm just going to do them manually. And I'm going to alternate each time, so Rapid City Pierre, Pierre Rapid City Pierre, and then, vice versa. Again, that's just to give the trains that extra bit of time. It's not much time, but it's a little bit of time to space themselves out on the track, so they're not all bunched up. Now, naturally, because I'm only using the one platform, there are going to be some delays as one train comes in, unloads. There might be a train waiting here. Again, I'm willing to accept that for now. Maybe later on we can revisit and make sure they're going into available platforms to avoid that. But for now, I'm going to just accept it. So the next city I want to go to is Miles City up here. So Rapid City to Miles City, and then after that I'm going to come down to Casper. From Casper, come around to Cheyenne. From Cheyenne down to Denver. And then we'll evaluate which way we're going to go. Which way we're going to spread out from there. But yeah, Miles City next. Okay, well, let's eliminate this bridge. Do get quite a steep incline there, but I'd rather that than be paying extra money on the bridge. Okay, so we've already run out of money, so we'll issue our first bonds. And we'll go for both of them, because we're going to need all the money we can get right now. There we go. Sorry, no, I'm not going to put supply towers down yet. Same again with the trains. Making sure to alternate each time. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, that's 4 cities connected up. each are mutually beneficial in terms of the goods that they produce. So now we can move down to Casper. Now I'm going to put another station in Miles City straight away here, just because I don't want to, double back on myself here or have a merge lane in here, which will really start to hold things up. So I'm just going to build the second small station. So drop that in and then get the station ready. And we're probably not going to have enough money to finish this line. Nope, not even close. So we need 125 for that line, so we'll speed up the game time, let it run, start getting some money off these trains that are already running. Okay, that's enough to build the line, get the signals in place now. And then get a bit more money together, and then we can start the trains running. Okay, we should have enough to, yep, we can get a couple trains going now. Okay, so that's two, so need to do one more from Casper. Okay, let's just pause it again. Now we have a connection bonus here to bring wheat into our network. Now I think I'll take advantage of that straight away and get it feeding Miles City, which will help, meet the demand for wheat and produce the beer, which is obviously being shipped to both Rapid City and Casper. So we'll go ahead and do that. Try and get it as close as I can to, cut down on the amount of track and therefore cut down on the cost of the track. Okay, just move that down a bit. Okay, let's just drop the cost a little bit, which is nice. So again, get the money together for that, 47,000, put it in place. We'll keep it as a single track for now, just the one train. It's, it's very simple to go back later on and add a second line if we need one. Now we want to make sure he only leaves when he's fully loaded, so we'll set his minimum number of rail cars to 8. Okay, now let's have a quick look and evaluate how we're looking. Okay, pretty happy with that so far. So Sioux Falls is growing, Pierre is growing, Rapid City is growing. These don't have the indicators yet, but I think that's because the trains haven't started to arrive, but I think they will also start growing pretty quickly as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is come down to Cheyenne. And again, I'm just going to put a second station into Casper for this. And then one in Cheyenne. Just try and hug this mountain as closely as possible. Okay, that's fine. There's only 5 grand on the earthworks there, which is not bad at all. So that's 79,000, so we're going to need about 150 to double it. Well, less than 150, about 160 to double it, sorry. And then obviously you have to remember we need to put the trains on as well. Let's have a look at this chief engineer. Is he the reduces cost of buildings? Yeah, go ahead. It'll make our stations that little bit cheaper, which is always nice. Let's look at our research. I'll get the increased number of passengers. It'll give us that little bit extra money. Okay, now we can put our dual line in from Cheyenne back to Casper. And then set our signals up. And then start to set the rail line up. You know what? I usually would bid on that, but I'm more, more concerned with getting the trains running as quickly as possible. See, already we're getting the messages, I believe, that the trains are starting to be run at reduced speed. Yep, due to missing equipment. Which is a shame, but again, like I said, I'm happy to live with that.
Another station in this city really wasn't necessary.
And then hook him up to Cheyenne. 14 grand on earthworks, could probably reduce that a bit. There we go. Only 2,000, and the inclines aren't too bad at all. So 100,000 there or thereabouts for both the lines. And then I want to start to think about maybe getting some of the supply towers in place. Okay, we should have enough now to put both lines in. Now the handy thing about Denver is because Beatrix has a station here, and obviously is feeding it with supplies, she's going to help that grow, which we can piggyback off of, which is nice.
You really should pay more attention to the maintenance of your locomotives.
No, don't want to clone it. Okay, so let's just have a look where we stand. So we're almost halfway there. As they grow, that should hopefully be enough to push us over that threshold. So what I want to do now is, as I said, maybe get a few of the supply towers in place just to get the trains running a little bit faster, so it'll grow a little bit faster. So I just need one on that line and then one on that line, so 60,000. And after that, I want to start to get the raw materials coming into these cities, such as the wheat to Pierre, meat into Sioux Falls, and so forth and so forth. Okay, so we've got enough for another supply tower, so we've got one on that line, so it's this line we want one next. And then we'll have one on the Cheyenne to Denver track. There we go. Okay, so now that's all the trains will start to get supplied. This one won't, but not too worried about that, to be honest. So now, in fact, now what I want to do, I'll tell a lie, I want to hook up to Omaha, because that's where we need to bring the meat to meet one of the objectives. 12%'s fine. So we'll get the money together to pay for that. I'll keep the one for the cheaper buildings rather than the extra innovation points. See, now we're starting to get the breakdowns. So after we've got the raw materials feeded into most, if not all, of the cities,
Oh dear.
really want to start looking at getting some
Problem with one of my
maintenance buildings put into these stations. So 92,000 for the return line. And what I'm doing now while I wait for the money is just looking where the raw materials are, to see where best to feed all these cities from. And just have a quick check of wrong screen. Quick check of the task. Yeah, so we're already exceeding 200,000. Once the raw materials start coming in and they produce more of their meat or beer, that should start to increase even further. And even faster. That's the wrong way. That's better. And then we'll get a supply tower in immediately for this one. And then get the line set up. Now I want this one to prioritise meat to help meet one of the objectives that little bit quicker. And I'm just going to go ahead and clone this one. Mainly because I'm a bit lazy at the moment. And clone his return train as well. Okay.
You should pay more attention to the maintenance of your locomotives. I would have chosen something far more excellent.
Now we have a connection bonus for Bismarck, which produces beer. So my thinking now is bring another station, Rapid City. Get him into Bismarck, because beer to meat, going to help both of them grow. Should help us meet our objective that little bit quicker. So I'm going to put this one in that direction. And I want to make sure I go around this cattle industry, because at some point I am going to want to bring that cattle down into Rapid City. So 147, 16 grand out of 147 is not too bad, so I'm not really going to be fussing around trying to reduce the amount of earthworks. I'll just accept that. It's not really a massive problem. So hopefully most cities should be growing. Rapid City is, Pierre is, and the others aren't. No problem. Again, it could just be because the trains haven't been arriving recently. Obviously with the breakdowns, they are going to arrive that little bit slower now. There we go, so we'll put the track down and then get the station. 38 grand, well just under 39, so we'll wait for that money to build up. And with that connection bonus, I'm going to put, I think I'll start putting a couple of maintenance buildings in position.
Well, everyone has to start somewhere.
In fact, no, I'm going to have to use it to construct most of this return line. Never mind. Did not think of that. There we go. Don't quite have enough supply towers straight off the bat, so we'll just wait a couple of seconds. There we go, now we do. and then get the train running. Still going to stick to the Philadelphia for now because it's cheaper. We can always go back and upgrade them later on if we want to.
Attention to the maintenance of your locomotive.
Okay, let's just slow down and pause for a second. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is this one. Deliver 40 loads of cattle to Sioux Falls. So, the cattle I tend to hook up to is the one between Rapid City and Bismarck, this one here. It's a fairly long, it's a fairly expensive line, but that's fine. Just use a small station for now. Once again, we could always upgrade it later on. If I put the other station in as well, it'll obviously be handy. Just reduce some of the earthworks just a touch. So 250,000, so looking at 500 for both ways. It's a lot of money, like I said it would be, but that shouldn't be waiting around too long to get that, not with all these trains running between these cities. Not really interested in that logging industry. I mean, would feed Wichita, so maybe I should have got it actually, but never mind. So, yeah, so nearly, yeah, there's 200,000. Just wait a little longer. Put the first track down. And this line is going to need at least 2, perhaps 3 supply towers because of its excessive length.
Say, are you a bit slow? I have already bid.
Let's have a quick check on the task.
Oh no, it looks like one of
I think we're still on course. I hope we're still on course. Otherwise this is going to be very short.
Let me show you how it's done.
So Bismarck is growing, that's good.
A little competition creates business, so my new station won't do any harm.
Not too bothered about that actually, because that will help Pierre grow just a bit faster, so thank you for that, Beatrix. Let's get a couple of supply towers. We'll put one here. There. Wait a couple of seconds to get the money for the next one, and I think I'll put it at about here. And that should avoid too many problems with missing supplies. Now the task is to transport 40 head of cattle. So, we want 8 trains running, fully loaded, to do that. So we'll get that set up. Sorry, 5 trains. That was really bad maths. And we will go for the dragon, I think, this time. I'll spend the extra cash. So that's 1.
Oh dear, there seems to be a little problem with one of your locomotives.
That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. We'll put a couple more on because it will make us money, so that's 6. There's 7. There's 8. Now what I want to do now is to help meet this producing 100 loads of meat objective is to buy one of the meat industries. Now, as many of you may have noticed if you tried this one, if you put a bid on a meat industry, Beatrix is going to try and outbid you. So to try and manipulate that,
I should pay more attention to the maintenance of your
what I'm going to do is bid for one that would be nice to have, but if we get outbid and Beatrix ends up taking it, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So I'm going to bid on the one in Rapid City. Let's see if she does try and swoop in and buy it instead. No, okay, that's not a problem. Because we have this, that's a bit closer than the one I did want to get was the one in Sioux Falls. But that's no problem, we can deal with the one in Rapid City. So what I'm going to do now is expand this station. Build another small station at Reed Fattening. And hook the 2 up. Save money on another supply tower. I'll just parallel these tracks so that they both they'll all use that one sanding tower that's already in place. What's gone on here? Okay, there we go. Not sure what happened there. $67,000. Okay, let's wait a few minutes to get some cash together to pay for that. The advantage of this is twofold. It's going to help Rapid City grow a little bit faster, plus it's also going to work towards one of our objectives, which is nice. And once that's done, what I want to do then is to start hooking up some wheat and meat, cattle to the other cities, which their respective cities, to help their cities grow faster as well. Okay, so that's that. So we'll link the 2 up. Just slow it down while I'm doing this. I'm happy with the Philadelphia because it's a shorter route than the one into Sioux Falls. So we'll wait for him to be loaded before we clone him up. That's 1. There's 2. Should have got that before I put these trains down. They'd have been that little bit cheaper, but never mind. What's he waiting for? Oh, he's on his way. I know why he waited so long. Never mind, I see what it is. So while that one's loading, I'm going to put a couple more signals in here to give the trains an extra block to move into. Because at the minute it was waiting for him to clear this one entire block from the sanding tower to the station.
The meat is first choice and will find many buyers.
Okay, so that's the 40 loads of meat task completed, so I don't have to worry about that now. This will start being completed once this meat starts to arrive in Rapid City. And now that the meat is going to Sioux Falls, the meat we produce in, well, somebody produces in Sioux Falls from the cattle, we can start moving it to Omaha. So we'll clone another one there. Okay, so now I want to start looking at bringing in the raw materials for these cities.
Seems to be a little problem with one of your locomotives.
Frustrate. Oh, although maybe she's not quite cut me off. Let me just have a look. There, I could just about reach with a small station. I was thinking she may have cut me off with this line, but she hasn't. So we'll expand, and we'll also, while we're here, put the maintenance building in, just to make a start on that. We'll bring him down to this station at the wheat farm. Now, financially, we are very healthy at the moment. We're making quite a bit of money quite in short spaces of time, which obviously speeds up our building process because we're not waiting around quite as long. Put a supply tower in around about halfway, and then get the line set up. Happy to use the Philadelphia again on this one. We'll go for 4 trains on that line. So he's getting cattle for his industry. He is now getting wheat for his industry. He's getting meat, cattle for his industry. We can link this wheat up to Bismarck to feed his industry. So we'll go ahead and expand him.
Those secret construction plans are lying all over the place. So you think that is a good idea?
$76,000. Speed it up a bit to get the money. Okay, that's enough for that. And I'm going to go for 2 or maybe 3 on this run. So we need 64,000 for the parallel track. Oh, oops, more than exceeded that, so I got carried away looking at stuff there. Wasn't paying attention. Put a supply tower roughly halfway once again. Put it there. And then get the trains running. So like I said, we'll have 3 trains on this one. What I want to do is put a few more on this one as well. Go for 8, so we'll double the number of trains doing this route, which should speed up the meat shipping. We'll also start putting in some maintenance buildings when we can afford to. And then I want to think about getting some meat into Casper City and some wheat into Cheyenne. That might be the best one for the wheat, I think. I'll have a good look later. Now for the meat, we might be struggling here. In fact, yes, we are going to struggle. Never mind. Okay, let's start putting some of these maintenance buildings into position.
Excuse me, could you keep out of this? You're driving the price up. You really should pay more attention to the maintenance of your locomotives.
In fact, what I'm going to do next now, what I was going to do is bring cotton into Pierre to help that grow, but the difference it's going to make isn't really going to help us reach the 400,000, you know, discernibly quicker, I don't think. So instead what I'm thinking about doing, although, just pause it, because there's a dress factory in Sioux Falls, the cloth that it produces would help Sioux Falls grow as well. So in fact, yes, I will go ahead and do it. And what I'm going to do is just piggyback off that existing line to save a bit of money. There we go. And now that leaves that supply tower as well, so that saves even more money. And we'll just go to 2 trains to try and reduce the congestion on this shared line. Gonna add 2 extra trains on that. Do the same on this line. Just pause for a second and have a think about what to do next.
Your locomotives.
Just check our objectives for a second. So we're on course for that, that's no problem. We're on course for that. I think we should be okay on this one, I think, but I want to encourage the growth to happen a little faster. So what I'm looking for what other demands do you have at the moment? Corn and logs. Okay, just pause it. There, we have logs there. The corn is going to be an issue, I think, because I think that's the nearest one. I mean, it could run up in the middle there. think I will do that. Get some money together because I want to expand this station. In fact, no, this station I think it's going to be. And put a maintenance building in to try and reduce these breakdowns as much as we can. Yes. And get... oh, can't afford the small station yet, never mind. We'll wait a few minutes. There we go. It's not the best terrain there, but never mind. Is there a supply tower? Oh, it's there. Okay then, that's no problem. Uh, 233. Okay, so need to wait for a while. So let's reduce maintenance requirements, which is nice, given the fact we are very few and far between in terms of our maintenance buildings. Okay, so it's gonna. That's there. There's Denver. No, I need the money more than I need the business, to be fair. Anyway, just pause it there. Yeah, we've been running for about 45-50 minutes, so we'll end this episode here. Make it a 2-part, maybe even 3-part episode, this one. So yeah, that's our first one. Hopefully we've got enough set up in place to help us hit the 400,000 population on our network. We still have, what, about 15-16 months to hit that. And once we start bringing in extra raw materials to these cities, it should help it along the way. So yeah, that's it for the first part of this episode. I'll see you in part 2.